Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. Welcome to another episode of Simple Story Saturday. Lots of lovely creators down below playing along this wonderful Saturday. The sun is out. I am outside doing voiceovers because it is noisy everywhere in my house. It may only be 35 degrees, but it's better than being in a noisy house. And the sun's out, so that's helpful. So our one rule with Simple Stories Saturday is to play with Simple Stories products, right? Well, I don't have a ton of product, but I do use a majority up of what is left of the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage. Oh my gosh, no, I don't know what it's called. Simple Vintage Country Harvest. I had the branding strip still, had to run down to a different part of my house to look to find it because I couldn't remember. That was 2 words apparently. Anyway, I've had this shape paper forever and I wanted to use it up. I've actually had it paired with kind of the leftovers of this Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Country Harvest papers and embellishments for a long time. And I have some fun fall photos from 2015, us going to one of our favorite orchards. And so I'm gonna pick out one of them and just create this fun dynamic page. So the biggest piece of paper is going to be that shape paper, which is from, I don't even know, it was one of those where it had it, you know how they used to have it printed on the back, so I don't even remember what it was. But I use up all the scraps that I have of this Simple Vintage Country Harvest. I'm going to use some of that wood grain to frame my photo to mat that, and then I'm just going to create messy mats until my heart is content. And so I realize I'm doing a lot of turquoise. There's a lot of turquoise and green going on, which is fine because there is green trees in the photo. There's a beautiful blue sky. It is fall. I'm wearing a reddish orange striped shirt. My son is wearing a maroon shirt. And so a lot of the embellishments have orange in them. So we'll use a lot of orange otherwise. But as I'm putting this together, I'm just realizing there's tons and tons of blue. I've got, this is also part, it was a kit from Redefined Creative from a while ago. I don't remember what it was called, but there's all these pieces left over. So I've got the thickers, I've got tons of embellishments. I think I also had part of this Simple Stories collection from something else. So I have a ton of embellishments. I've got these, I think they're $49 in Market, but I'm not sure. But they're like washi tape stickers, which are just like a cream background with black. They look sketched, and so I want to use a bunch of those. I really like the look of that black sketch peeking out behind my bright colors of photos, and then on this brown polka dot shape paper. Just really embracing everything that I have and wanting to make the most of it. And I really love the way it turns out. So like I said, just playing, matting, getting my photo all set, tearing some layers, just building up and using as much as possible. And I kind of like these layouts sometimes the best because you're sitting there just playing and thinking to yourself, what else can I use? What else can I use? How much more of this can I use? Because I use this all up. What if I do this? And I like these. These, what's left over, what can I stash, smash, or use, and they're a lot of fun. I did come across one of the papers I had left from Simple Stories. A decent size of it was also a cut apart sheet. So there was one cut apart that I really, really liked that I wanted to use to do some journaling. So I have that there, and I'm just figuring out how I want to arrange it on my shape here. I'm going to glue all of this stuff down together and then eventually find a piece of cardstock that is walnut cream, which a lot of Simple Story stuff is cream based. Ironically, this one is not. But I really like the cream background in the end because I end up having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, but I'm tucking some of those washi stickers in, and I plan on tucking more in, and you'll see that in a little bit. I was bound to determine to use this word always to create my title. So I stick it down, I tear it accidentally, I end up pulling it up, I stick it down 3 more times. I edited all of that out so you don't have to see me try and use it a million times, but I do end up using it, spoiler alert, and it just ends up being in a different spot than I originally planned. But I was thinking I would have fabulous always, and then I realized that was going up above my shape paper and that is going to be at the top of my paper, so that's not really going to work. So I kind of scratch that whole idea, tear all that off, and then decide, why don't I start on figuring out what my background paper is going to be and start getting some more orange added in, and I'm going to do that with some fun background mixed media. So I worked on this off camera because I was waiting for another video to create. So I had to do something while that created, so I apologize. But I took a old, I think it's a Bo Bunny stamp that's like a half a doily. And I stamped that in a few places. And then I have this photoplay stamp set that has like critters on it and leaves. And so I used a bunch of the leaves and I stamped that. And then now I'm going through and adding some splatters. This is Broken China Distressed Oxide, and I will have some close-ups of what the inks are right here. So I stamped everything with this Versamark gray, and then this is the China. This is it Ray Persimmon or Ray Pumpkin? I don't remember. And then I went around the whole page with the orange and then the new Scorched Timber Brown, and inked the edges of a couple other things. I'll add a tag later down below that'll ink the edges with the Scorched Timber. But yeah, I really like the way that turned out, and then adds just a little hint of orange around the edge along with the brown to just kind of distress and vintagey up the background even more. And then it really, those orange doily made me think, because on that note card there's like an edge of an orange doily. So that's why I thought I'd have it peeking out from other places. So I wanted to have it peeking out a bunch of places. I do cover one of them up almost entirely. You can still, two of them actually, you can still see it peeking out a little bit. And it gives just that hint of orange in those corners. Yeah, the two upper corner ones I almost cover up completely. You can still see hints of it though. So, but mixed media is usually like go far and then you end up covering up a ton, which is fine. Here's that tag I'm going to stick down on the bottom, but I ended up deciding to use that always tucked under or atop of the note card, and then using these wood alphas to do Smile Always instead. So the title didn't stand out too harshly like the Orange Fabulous would have. Yeah. And now I'm going through just all the ephemera and all the thickers, the foam stickers that I have from this collection, and just tucking and playing and figuring out what I like where. I end up putting a couple things up on foam, but I really like the white pumpkins. I didn't want to bring too much orange in because it's just kind of a hint of orange everywhere that I really, really love. So I bring on some white pumpkins in a few places, and I make sure I add a couple bees. And since there is one turquoise teal blue butterfly on that note card, I make sure to bring in a few more to kind of balance that out. Obviously I add hearts and some leaves. I wanted to add more to that upper cluster, so I figured if I'm going to cover up the doily, I might as well do it with something orange. So I have one flower orange cluster up there. I wanted to just add a titch of green, and so I thought about using a tag or like a ticket, but I end up using this little like curvy band that says all good things, putting that down kind of in the center, and just sprinkling all those colors so I have a little balance of the orange, the blue, the green, and the brown kind of in every little cluster. And I think I accomplished that. So thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate it. And make sure you check out all the people who played with some simple stories today. I have some close-ups at the end. And we will see you next month for another Simple Stories Saturday. Thanks again, guys. Bye.